There are three aspects of fascia I want to discuss. The first is that it is connective. No arguments, usually, in the science world about that. It is also protective. It is part of your autonomic sympathetic nervous system that squeezes when you get scared. And the third aspect is that it is communicative. Information travels through your body faster than any nerve impulse is able to transmit an electrical signal. So how does the information get around so fast? I propose that it travels at the speed of light. Where do I get such a preposterous notion? Well, it didn't come from studying cadavers. Nope. Dead men didn't tell this tale. Living ones did. In 2005, Dr. Jean-Claude Gamberteau, a plastic surgeon, made a movie. He called it Strolling Under the Skin. What he had done was he took his fiber-optic surgical tools inside a living body and he magnified the fascia 25 times and made a movie out of it. The very first time we got to see what fascia looks like in vivo, in a living human being. It was phenomenal. In 2011, I was trying to put together a little video for education for my clients. Actually, I thought it was just for one client who was supposed to arrive in about an hour. And I used my camera phone in front of the DVD while it was playing to catch little clips of Dr. Gamberteau's movie so that I could explain to my client what this tissue is that we're working with. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So a video must be worth at least 100 times that. I had no idea what would become of that. This little minute 20-second video, when I posted it on YouTube, went viral. Myofascial release therapists all over connected to it in a fascial way and would link it so that their clients could understand this tissue. And what clients were seeing was what John Barnes taught us to feel, that there was this magnificent network of microscopic, hollow, transparent, fluid-filled tubules connecting everything inside us, called fascia. And it was that day that I discovered that I have a particular genius as an interpreter. I am able to read the pithy, heavy scientific literature, turn it around, and explain it so that anyone can understand it. I believe that your body is within your understanding, and I've been carrying the torch of that information ever since. Fascia in the medical world is considered packing material. It's the stuff in the way that they have to cut through in order to get to the target that they're after. If you have the stomach for it, you can go on YouTube and find several examples of surgery, and you'll see the white stuff after that initial cut. That is your superficial fascia. Their scalpel will just hack through that in order to get to the target. But what's interesting and important is that there are many more layers than that. And the very best analogy to visualize how we're put together inside is to imagine an orange. An orange without its peel still holds its shape. All of that white pith allows it to hang together. And we are like that. Just underneath our skin, we have a superficial layer of fascia that holds everything together. But you know you can take sections out of the orange, and each section holds its shape. It has its own container. We are like that. All of our organs and muscles have their own container of connective tissue. But the saga continues. You can open up a section of orange, you know what you're going to see, individually wrapped pulp. And we are like that, all the way down to muscle, spindle, and organelle, all the way down to bone. And bone is just mineralized fascia. The next function of fascia is part of your automatic sympathetic nervous system. It responds protectively by squeezing when you get a fear signal. Much like a seat belt, it'll lock up on you when there's sudden movement or just the thought of danger. The purpose of this is biological. If you get in a fight and get cut, you don't want to bleed too much, so the fascia is squeezing your blood vessels because the blood vessels are buried within the fat and fascia, so that you don't bleed too much if you get cut. It also squeezes your nerves so that you numb during that event. We've all had experience of getting in an accident and then finding out in the days and weeks afterward, bruises we didn't know we had and can't figure out how they got there, aches and pains that may even increase over time. Take those symptoms to your doctor and you'll find that he can't see your soft tissue, not with an x-ray or an MRI or a CT scan. What you'll be given is the diagnosis of soft tissue damage. And that's a big deal. That means that the intricate, sensitive, delicate web inside you has been disturbed, interrupted, torn. And the thing about that is, when it repairs crisscross and diagonal, like plaid. And the nature of that scar tissue is more granular, more resistant, less flexible, and you lose range of motion. During that freeze response, the fascia can act like a tourniquet, and that slows down circulation, lymph flow, and light into the area. When we walk away from an event like that, we don't often know many of us have freeze response still contained within our body. The third function of fascia is to communicate. This internal fishnet of yours allows you to know where your body is in space and how one part is in relationship to the other. It's a fancy word called proprioception. And Dr. Gamberto's movie showed me so obviously how this information in the body is transferred so quickly. Prior to his movie, researchers were already looking into what is consciousness. Lynn McTaggart, in her book The Field, The Quest for the Secret Force of the Universe, quoted researchers who came to this theory, that the body has a system of light pipes that form the internet of the body and share information through photons. These light pipes account for the speed at which information is shared faster than any nerve impulse can conduct an electrical signal. At one point in our history, we used to use copper to insulate wiring to increase the speed of an electrical signal. But it had its problems. Lightning would interfere with it. Various other aspects would slow down the signal. And in about the mid to late 19th century, people began to look into how can we transmit information faster, and they started looking into the use of glass tubes and light. Fast forward to 1970, and the Corning company came out with the very first fiber-optic wire that could transmit 65,000 times the amount of information than copper wiring, and over 1,000 miles away. Nerve impulses can be compared to copper wiring when you compare it to the speed of transmission of information through our fiber optic fascia. This area of study is rich with information. I'm not a scientist. I am an explorer. I don't have to prove my theory. I'll leave that to the researchers now. What I feel like is at the time when they used to believe that the world was flat, I'm this little fisherman in a rowboat who's paddled way beyond the horizon many, many times and is quite comfortable with knowing that the world is round. So I get to proceed as if this were true with my clients. And my clients benefit from my proceeding as if when they receive. There are some very interesting side effects that I see in my clients that kind of underline and support this theory of mine. The first one is sudden epiphany. Someone will come in with a seemingly random pain. They're lying on the table and they go, "Oh my God, I just remembered an injury I got when I was snowboarding. I hurt my right knee." Why am I even thinking about that? It's my left foot that hurts. That doesn't have anything to do with it, does it? No, that was years ago. They will also say that as they were driving home, they had this realization, oh my goodness, I've had this problem that's been bugging me for over a month, and I just figured out I know exactly what to do. So problem solving is another aspect that I see. Sometimes people will come in with a body part that doesn't feel like it's theirs. It feels kind of numb to them, and while it's perfectly functional, it doesn't, if it's the arm, it doesn't reach out to help in activities. It doesn't work with the other hand. It feels like it's not a part of them because the tourniquet is still going on in there. There's a part of a freeze response left in their body. Can you imagine what it is like when they lie down on the table and I gently traction their arm and let them know, you can't get this wrong. All you get to do here is let go. Take the brakes off. I don't push, I don't shove. I just gently hang out where the resistance is and wait for their body, telling them it's okay to melt and sink and soften and elongate, and they do. And when they do, it clears the pathway. The fascial tangle or snarl is cleared, and blood is able to flow through, lymph is flowing through, and light is flowing through, and information can come from that limb into the body. So they're not remembering only the event that started this, but they're remembering their body parts into the whole family. There's another interesting thing that happens when they come in to clear their fascial clutter. They go home and they clear the clutter in their life. They come back and they say, I cleaned out my junk drawer. Could that possibly be related? Or I had a really important relationship talk, needed to happen and has been needing to happen for a long time. Could this be related? Many times I see people for their first myofascial release session. They're in no mood for me to take their picture. If I could, what you might see is shadows, something like they've tried everything. They don't want hope. They've almost given up on the possibility that they can let go of their pain. And then after their first session, do you think it is an accident of language that we use words like luminescent, radiant, glowing, lights up a room? This is what I see at the end of a session. Their internal fishnet has lit up and it's shining through their skin. Some of the words that people use when they report how they feel are a lot lighter, more flow, more space in my body. One person told me it feels like my inner world went from black and white to technicolor. One of my favorites was, it felt like something that was a rock turned into jello and then turned into fog. And I love it when people ask me, is it possible that this is what enlightenment really is? Information travels through your body faster than any nerve impulse is able to transmit an electrical signal. When I look at living fascia magnified 25 times, it explains to me how information is transmitted at the speed of light and why my clients experience the side effects of enlightenment that they do. When old restricted patterns are interrupted and flow is restored, I think we're looking at the mechanism of consciousness. I'm Ronelle Wood. Thank you.